Hey guys, don't forget to hit the bell icon next to the subscribe button so that you can be notified every time I come up with a new video. Hi guys, what's up? Thank you so much for coming back. I'm Arpita and I welcome you back once again to the Crazy Wisdom. Alright, so today it's turn for the compatibility video, and today we'll be looking into the compatibility of the 10th sign of the zodiac belt, Capricorns, and we'll be seeing how well or not so well they gel with the rest of the signs of the gang. So what are we waiting for? Put on your thinking caps and your wisdom boots. Let's get on and shoot. Alright, so when we talk about a Capricorn and an Aries, fun obviously suffers here because a Capricorn is just like a 81-year-old wise and steady man, even when 18. And an Aries, on the other hand, is a complete flip to it. They are just like 18-year-old reckless boys and girls, even when 81. Love will fall somewhere in the middle because although a Capricorn provides the stability, the loyalty, and the protection that a child like Aries needs, but an Aries, on the other hand, many a times fails to show the responsibility, the duty, and the seriousness that a Capricorn demands from a relationship, and thus, it gets turbulent. Work again suffers here because, a Capricorn is a very strategic and a sort of a let's do all the due diligence and background check once before entering into any project sort of a person, whereas an Aries is a very, very impulsive and a very, very reckless personality who just goes out and does the task even if it turns out to be a mistake later, and therefore again it does not fall on a common ground, and overall the entire relationship does not work that well. Now when we talk about a Capricorn and a Taurus, well, it is a near perfect match because in terms of fun it works really well because a Capricorn sort of finds their sensible and mature self in their Taurus partner, and a Taurus always turns out to be a contained, classy, yet a person who knows exactly where to let their hair down and have fun sort of a person, and that is exactly what a Capricorn gets attracted to. Love again works brilliantly because a Capricorn always desires a slow to grow, strong to stay, steady, and a dependable sort of a love story, and that is exactly what a Taurus wants to get into. Work again works brilliantly here because thinking, planning, strategizing, both these signs believe very, very strongly and firmly in these three things, and therefore overall this relationship works really, really well. Now when we talk about a Capricorn and a Gemini, fun obviously drops here because a Capricorn is a very, very crisp, to the point, and strict on schedule sort of a person, whereas a Gemini, as we know, is a free-spirited person, and when they start to enjoy, they never look back. Love again dips here because, as we all know, a Capricorn is a very, very calculative person, and they do not get into a relationship or in a commitment with someone until and unless they see the perfect long-term security with that person, whereas a Gemini, on the other hand, is a completely free-spirited person, and they would not shy away from trying their relationship dynamics with 10 different people until and unless things start to work out. Work again has to suffer here because a Capricorn again is a planning, thinking, strategizing, and then putting their foot forward sort of a person, whereas a Gemini is like, let's try everything and anything that comes our way, and we'll think about the results and the implications later, and therefore major clashes and nothing matches. Now when we talk about a Capricorn and a Cancer, well, two opposites of the zodiac belt coming together, what more can we expect than major attraction? Fun, love, and work, all three work brilliantly here because the Capricorn's maturity, sensibility, and a sense of judgment of exactly where to stop and where to begin sort of acts as a strong wall of protection for a Cancerian, which they actually require very, very frequently in their highs and lows, which they constantly face. So, a Capricorn's strength to fight with the world sort of provides an emotional security and strength to a Cancerian. And a Cancerian's 200% care and nourishment sort of brings out the emotional side of an otherwise dry Capricorn, and therefore it works amazingly well. Now, when we talk about a Capricorn and a Leo, well, fun does not work well here because, whenever in a party or in a group or in a get-together, a Capricorn is the one who stands in, one of the corners and constantly sees people and observes them and judges them and forms opinions. Whereas a Leo is the person you will always find on the center of the stage, dancing and grabbing all the limelight possible, and no matter how much they try to convince a Capricorn, they would not let their hair down until and unless they are present in their innermost circle. Love again fails to hit the chord because a Leo is, grandeur and over-the-top romantic gestures and very, very filmy and cinematic sort of experiences when it comes to love, whereas a Capricorn is a very, very practical, real, and grounded person, and therefore, there's this great mismatch here. In addition to this, a Leo is a very experimental person and they do not shy away from dwelling in relationships, whereas a Capricorn's seriousness and uber strict attitude does not even allow others to approach them, and therefore it again does not work. And finally, in terms of work, well, speculation and risk taking is Leo's another name, and safety and security is Capricorn's, and therefore no match. And overall, this relationship does not work that well. Now, when we talk about a Capricorn and a Virgo, well, what happens when two very, very mature, responsible, goal oriented, dutiful, and committed people come together? Well, a bond of togetherness going on for around 200 years or so. We would find 100% understanding, 100% attachment, and 100% support from both sides when we talk about a Capricorn and a Virgo. The only glitch here, who would approach for getting into a relationship or togetherness first? Both of these signs are very, very reserved and sort of introverted in their respective natures, and they would safely decide to wait for an eternity rather than go out and say, I love you first. So, this one thing can become a shortcoming. Otherwise, if they hit it off, they would hit it off pretty well, and this relationship would work very, very nicely. Now, when a Libra and a Capricorn come together, well, fun and love does not work at all. Because come on, we're talking about the god of love, romance, socializing, and being on center stage, coming together with the god of duty, responsibility, hard work, perseverance, and commitment to life. And therefore, they do not find common ground at all. But work, on the other hand, is something that works amazingly well here because, both are analytical and both are very, very slow and steady in their approach. Both are status and fame oriented and super concerned about the fact as to what kind of an image is getting formed in the society. And both are steadfast and not at all impulsive with their money and finances. And therefore, this one aspect works well here, but overall, this relationship somewhat remains turbulent. Now, when a Capricorn and a Scorpio come together, well, this relationship works amazingly well because in both of these signs cases, it is like, the missing pieces of a puzzle coming together and fitting exceptionally well. A Capricorn might be slow to proceed and commit, but when they do, they are loyal and persevering to the core, and they have the capability of holding on till eternity. And a Scorpio exactly demands all these qualities and traits when they want to get into a relationship. A Scorpio brings in the romance and passion that is missing from a Capricorn's life, whereas a Capricorn provides the ultimate strength and a touch of reality in a Scorpio's life. And therefore, just like the missing pieces of a puzzle, this relationship works amazingly well and it fits in perfectly. Now, when we talk about a Capricorn and a Sagittarius, well, not at all. Because, for a Capricorn, a Sagittarius is a very, very reckless, impatient, unstable, boastful, and, sort of an ostentatious personality who does everything to gain attention or to gain limelight. And all these things do not go at all with a Capricorn's basic agenda of life. And when we talk in terms of work, well, a Sagittarius demands a pool of knowledge in their lives, and for that they are ready to go the extra mile and do whatever it is possible to gain what they want. Whereas a Capricorn is a very steady and a very security seeking individual, and whatever a Capricorn does or gets into rubs with reality like anything, and therefore overall this relationship does not work. Now, when another Capricorn enters into the picture, well, there are a lot of benefits in the relationship and a very few shortcomings. Fun and work really well here because both of these people are on the same plane, on the same level of understanding, and both of them want the same thing as far as these two aspects are concerned. The only glitch that comes in this relationship is an emotional connect. There's a huge lack of it. Both of these people are very, very practical and very, very real to the core, and they do not want to mingle into unnecessary emotional drama. And when this is absent from both the sides, well, then a gap develops because neither of them is trying to bridge that emotional distance, to bridge that romantic distance. And this is where distance can come in the relationship, and it can sort of go towards breaking. But if this one thing is kept in mind, then overall this relationship can sustain. Now, when we talk about a Capricorn and Aquarius, well, this is earth and air that we're talking about. Although both of these are meant to be together and coexist, but there's no practical, real or visible meeting point, that we see. And this is exactly what happens with a Capricorn and an Aquarius, because although both of them have the same ruling deity, that is Saturn, but they're completely contrasting in their approach towards life. And Aquarius is a very, very weird and outer-worldly personality, and therefore their love, their ideas, their ethics, and everything about them comes as a major shock to the timeline-oriented and a very, very reality-touching Capricorn. So, for this to work, a Capricorn sort of needs to expand themselves to a whole new dimension, and an Aquarian sort of needs to open their eyes to reality and come a little down from their ninth cloud that they sort of stay in. So, this is practically impossible because both of them reside and own completely different worlds, and therefore on an overall basis this relationship does not work at all. Now, finally, when we talk about a Capricorn and a Pisces coming together, this relationship sort of works really well because a Capricorn is ruled by the intuitive and the spiritual Jupiter, which sort of helps the Saturn-ruled Capricorn in filling the voids that is present in them. And a Capricorn sort of brings in the firmness and the decisiveness in a Piscean's life and makes them stronger. Because you know, here a Piscean offers raw, completely untouched and amazingly beautiful ideas to a Capricorn, which acts like an ocean of possibilities for them to grow and expand. The only two issues that can come here are a Capricorn's emotionlessness and their aversion to romance. Whereas from Piscean's side, it can be their underconfidence and their inability to have that belief in themselves, which a Capricorn would want them to have. And therefore, this one thing can bring in problems and a sort of a situation of conflict. But if this is kept in mind and this is worked upon, overall this relationship will work. Alright guys, so with this I put a wrap on today's video. I hope you liked it, and if you did, don't forget to leave a cute thumbs up right underneath it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel in order to remain updated with all the latest news on zodiacs, astrology and motivation. With this, I'll be meeting you again too soon, but don't forget to be crazy and wise until we meet for the next time. I'll see you guys sooner. Bye bye.